The village of Broken Chains, centuries later, in the humble frontier village of Drolith, a young man named Kellen lived in exile. Unlike other villagers, Kellen bore a strange birthmark shaped like a broken chain across his chest. Many believed it was a curse of the gods. His parents had died mysteriously when he was a child, leaving him with nothing but an old, blackened sword, its blade chipped, its hilt wrapped in torn leather. Kellen worked as a hunter and woodcutter, living alone on the outskirts. The villagers mocked him, calling him Fate's orphan. Yet Kellen possessed uncanny strength and speed, far beyond ordinary men. He never understood why. This shadow in the woods! One evening, while hunting in the forest, Kellen encountered a monstrous direwolf twice the size of a horse. With only his old sword, he fought the beast in a desperate battle. Just as the wolf lunged to tear him apart, Kellen's body moved with impossible precision as blade, finding the creature's heart in a single strike. But as the beast fell, its body dissolved into black smoke, whispering, "You are the one. The gods will not forgive you." Shaken, Kellen carried the blackened wolf's fang back to the village. That night, an army of armored riders bearing the sigil of the Celestial Empire stormed into They demanded Kellen be handed over, claiming he was the child of the prophecy. Act 2. The journey begins. The burning village. When the villagers refused to surrender him, the soldiers set fire to Drelith. Kellen fought to protect them, cutting down armored men with a skill he did not know he possessed. But he was overwhelmed. Just as he was about to be slain, a hooded sorceress named Selene unleashed a wave of fire, saving him. Selene revealed the truth. Kellen was marked by the gods as the one destined to either break or uphold fate. His birthmark of broken chains was the symbol of defiance itself. The Celestial Empire, ruled by the immortal Emperor Keller, feared Kellen would rise against him. With his home destroyed, Kellen agreed to follow some companions of destiny on their journey. Kellen and Selene gathered allies. Roran, a disgraced knight who lost his honor protecting a corrupt king. His weapon, a massive war. Lyra, a thief from the streets, quick with blades and quicker with wit. Thalos, a scholar exiled for uncovering forbidden truths about the gods. Together, they formed a mismatched band of Selene revealed that the only way to defeat Emperor Keller was to retrieve the shards of eternity, fragments of the divine tablet broken long ago. With them, Kellen could claim the power to defy fate itself. Act 3. Trials of the Shards, the Cavern of Whispers. Their first quest led them to the Cavern of Whispers, where the voices of the dead tormented intruders with visions of guilt. Kellen was forced to relive the deaths of his parents, realizing they had sacrificed themselves to protect him from celestial assassins. His rage nearly consumed him, but Selene guided him back. At the cavern's heart, Kellen claimed the first shard, glowing with pure light, the desert of endless night. The second shard lay buried in the cursed sands of Ithrock, where the sun never rose. Here, they battled sand wraiths and an ancient guardian serpent. During the battle, Lyra nearly betrayed them for gold offered by rival mercenaries, but Kellen's trust in her brought her back. The shard bonded to him, granting visions of possible futures, glimpses of fate's threads, the frozen peaks of Vaynor. The third shard rested atop the icy mountains of Vaynor, guarded by frost giants. Kellen fought the giant chieftain in single combat, wielding strength no mortal should possess. When he struck the final blow, he realized his sword, once dull and broken, was being reforged by the shards into the blade of eternity, a weapon said to cut through fate itself. Act 4. The betrayal, the truth of Selene. As they returned, Kellen began to doubt Selene. Her knowledge of fate, the gods, and Kellen's destiny seemed too precise. At last, the truth emerged. Selene was no mere sorceress, was a fallen goddess, once bound to fate herself. She had broken away from the divine order, seeking freedom. She confessed she had chosen Kellen not merely to save the world, but to destroy the gods themselves. Kellen was torn. Was he a savior or merely her weapon? Roran's death. Before Kellen could decide, Emperor Keller's army ambushed them. In the brutal clash, Roran sacrificed himself to hold back the soldiers, allowing the others to escape. His final words to Kellen were, "Defy fate. Not for the gods. Not for her. But for yourself." Roran's death ignited Kellen's fury. For the first time, Kellen openly swore, "I will not be a pawn of fate, nor a weapon of gods or emperors. I will carve my own path." Act 5. The final battle, the Celestial Throne. Armed with the completed Blade of Eternity, Kellen led his companions into the heart of the Celestial Empire. They stormed the Sky Fortress, where Emperor Keller awaited on his golden throne. Keller revealed himself not as a man, but as a god who had chained himself to mortality to rule forever. He offered Kellen a choice. Join him, reshape the world, and rule as his heir. Kellen refused. The duel beyond time. Their battle shook the heavens. Kellen's blade clashed against Keller's divine staff, each strike tearing open rifts in reality. Kellen glimpsed countless futures, some where he ruled as a tyrant, others where he died, forgotten. In one vision, he saw himself slay Keller but become worse than him. But, remembering Roran's words, Kellen rejected every path shown to him. He refused to let fate dictate anything. With a final cry, he shattered the Emperor's staff and drove the Blade of Eternity through his chest. The fortress crumbled as Keller's immortal essence burned away. Act 6. The choice. As Kellen stood among the ruins, Selene urged him to use the blade to break the chains of the gods forever, unleashing mortals from divine fate. But Delos warned that doing so would unravel the very order of the world. Kellen looked at his companions, at the broken world around him, and made his choice. He raised the blade high and shattered it into dust. No one will rule fate. Not gods, not emperors, not me. Let mankind write its own story. Epilogue? The warrior without fate. Kellen returned to the ashes of Drelith, where survivors rebuilt their lives. Lyra led the effort to unite thieves, villagers, and wanderers into a new free city. Selene vanished into the winds, her fate unknown. Delos became a chronicler, writing the story of the man who defied destiny. Kellen himself disappeared into legend. Some say he wandered the lands as a protector. Others believe he became one with the dust of the blade. The Rift of Shadows. Their journey led them to the Rift of Shadows, a tier in the sky where Melric drew his power. Too crossed, they battled abominations of nightmare, creatures with too many eyes, beasts made of fire and bone. Kellen fought like the warrior of legend, but every strike reminded him of the shattered blade he had destroyed. Now, he had only his will, and it was tested to its limits. Delos, sacrifice! At the heart of the rift, they were ambushed by Malric's warband. In the chaos, Delos seized a fragment of the shattered blade from the enemy and forced it into Kellen's hands. Your path is not over, Delos said, bleeding. You may hate fate, but you are still its answer. Finish what you began. With those words, Delos threw himself into the rift, collapsing it upon the enemy horde. His death struck Kellen like thunder. Act 5. The final confrontation, the Throne of Ruin. At last, Kellen and his allies stormed the ruins of the Celestial Throne. Malric awaited, the edge of despair burning in his hands. The air shimmered with unreality, the walls bending like smoke. Kellen Malric roared, "You broke fate, but what did you leave behind? Nothing but chaos! You freed men only to let them suffer. You are no savior. You are the father of despair." Kellen's voice was quiet but firm. Maybe, but despair is not the end. It's the beginning of choice. The battle erupted. But in every tavern, every kingdom, and every battlefield, his story was told.